How's everyone doing? Thanks for joining me on my small engine repair channel. Today's project's on this Yardmachines MTD mower with a Power Mower 140cc engine on it. And it has some obvious problems that we'll take a look at, and we'll see what we can do with this one. Alright guys, so welcome back to the channel. So this mower I picked up last night for free. Someone contacted me on my Facebook Marketplace ad, and I'm always looking for freebie stuff, even if it's just for parts. This one's got some major issues, obvious issues. These wheels on these things tend to suck pretty bad. They tend to toe in quite a bit. They're non-adjustable really. They are adjustable technically. There's 3 different positions, 3 holes in the deck where the wheel can bolt to, but you can't manually move them up and down quickly without having to take the wheels entirely off. This back wheel I noticed was super wobbly, and with closer inspection I did then notice that there is a patch job around the back side of this. So I don't know what's going on with this thing in that respect. I think there's a huge hole in the deck also right here, because this handlebar is so low. Like, you'd have to be like about a 5-year-old to push this thing. And the other obvious, 2 more obvious items here are, someone snapped off one of these nuts on that bolt or on that stud, and the starter recoil rope has actually, come out and not gone back in. And you can see if you look closely in the starter recoil, it's got, the spring is all messed up in there. So this thing's got some major problems. Most likely it'll be a parts machine, but maybe we can piece together another mower potentially, just to put something together at the end of the year for maybe a camp mower or something like that, something fairly cheap. Now I have this exact same engine that's missing some parts off of it. It's missing the stud and the nut entirely off of that front one, which is typically a little bit bigger than these other back ones. So unfortunately, I can't just take one of these back ones and put it here off the other machine. This one's also missing the carburetor and air filter assembly on it. And if you take a look, it says it also needs a coil. Now these coils are super expensive, like $80 to $100, so I wasn't going to put that kind of money into it. So I basically just have used this as a parts machine. It does have the coil wire on it, but the coil has been chewed through. So maybe out of these 2 we can make one good one, because the starter recoil looks okay on that one. This one has the carburetor and the air filter assembly, so that would be a quick swap. Unfortunately, I still don't have a 3rd stud for this one, but I might be able to find something, or it might just, oh, actually the stud's there. It's just somebody's tried to mess around with this recoil. So the stud's there, it just needs a nut. So I've got, obviously those nuts, they're just 10mm nuts. I can swap that out. So let's take a look at the condition of the oil. There is some in there, but it is pretty darn low. So I want to top that up a little bit before I get too much further into it. The O-ring also has stuck to that guy, to the assembly, to the block, instead of being on the actual oil dipstick. So we'll take a look at that. And let me put you in a stand here and we can get started on this thing. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is swap out these recoils here first. They jacked up the they screwed up the bolts on the underside here too. Yeah, so they looks like they kind of screwed up the threads on these bolts, which I don't know, probably screws up the threads here as well. So let's see, while I'm under here, let's take a look. Everything looks okay, nothing's chewed up, no nests. The governor assembly is free. What I'm going to try and do here is just hold on to the stud here in the bottom while I remove the nut up top here. Okay, so that one came off. So that's good. Let's see if it goes back in. Do the same with this guy over here. Okay, so that guy came off. And if worse comes to worse, I could use the studs from the other machine in here. Okay, that's... So this stud looks like it's going to be okay. This stud, I don't want to have to re-tap that. I can get away with it. Just looks like somebody messed up the threads on down here. It looks like it's going in. Okay, so that's good. Let's take this recoil off. Junk. Put it back on. Get this new recoil on here. There we go. And I'm going to try and use these nicer nuts off the other machine. At least 2 of the 3. So I only had 2 on the other one as well. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to put that handle on here off the other one. This handle is going to be an easy swap out. Just cut off the old piece, pull the handle right off, and it's fine. This new piece will kind of burn the edge. So it doesn't come unfrayed. I do have to get these knots out. Okay, that's good. Put it through the handle, super easy, usually. Except I think the singed edge is the hole. I don't know why the hole is so small. There's got to be a joke in there somewhere. There we go. Just grab it with your pliers, just give it a nice tight knot. There we go. Alright, so starter recoil is done. So at least we can see if we can get this thing even started. At least it might be a viable engine. Before I do that, I also want to look underneath. Make sure A, there is a blade, and B, it's not all bent to hell. So there's definitely a blade. It looks like it's in half decent shape. It's not bent. There's no big huge dings in it, so I don't think they did anything with it. Alright, and see if it's got any gas. It's got a full tank of gas. It smells nice and fresh. If nothing else, we got a couple bucks worth of gas on this thing. Air filter, that is like almost petrified. Now I'm going to check to see if this thing is priming. It's definitely priming. There's definitely some fuel there. So I think it's going to start. What do you guys think? Let's see what we get. See if there's any other issues besides that wheel. Okay, so I think we have a viable engine. It does shake a little bit, but that's very typical of these cheapo MTD, you know, $150, $200 brand new mowers. I could always try and, you know, sharpen the blade and bounce the blade, see if that makes any difference. But the thing runs, which is great. I'm not going to probably mess with the carburetor if I don't have to. I do want to address this wheel though, because that is not usable. And I'd also like to address the handle somehow if I can as well, so that you don't have to crouch down to, you know, 3 foot tall to be able to use this. Alright, I have you up on my lawnmower lift here. Not sure how well you're going to be able to see this, unfortunately, for lighting and stuff. Here's your bad wheel. You can see this could be, hopefully, just a matter of this nut not being tight enough. Now this thing looks like it's either covered in something or it's mangled or something. So I'm going to try and clean this up a little bit in and around this area, see if we can get a little closer look at what's going on in this particular ascent area. Oh yeah, that's definitely mangled up some here. Yeah, it's like missing. I see what they tried there. There's some of that patchwork there. I can see. Now This might not be fixable from my end here. I also want to kind of scrape in this area where the handlebar meets. I can get a better look as to why this handlebar is so far down. Again, I think these nuts are so rusted that they're not holding jack squat. But look at how much play there is here. So I'm gonna try and see if I can build this up a little bit, maybe with some washers or a piece of metal, a bracket of some sort. So let me get something figured out here, and then I'll bring you back. Let me show you what I did here. I put a washer on the bottom side of this wheel assembly, and then I put a couple of washers, thin washers, underneath the bolt itself. And now the wheel definitely is much more stable. The other thing I did was I put a self-tapping bolt through the deck. I wish I would have got a picture of this before I put the wheel on, but you can see the bolt head here at the end of my pinky finger. What that's going to do is prevent the handlebars from coming down any further. And that's, again, just a temporary fix. Hopefully it lasts for the next season or two, because that's probably all this mower has left in it. So I'm going to put it down, and we're going to test it all out and see how it goes. Okay, so there you have it. Yeah, I've probably spent a little over an hour on this thing, but I was able to rob some parts off of another engine, specifically that recoil, and just do a couple of mods to the wheels and the deck, and now this is going to be a usable mower again. I'll clean up the air filter with some soapy water and let it dry out and put it back together. And you know, I'll sell this to somebody for like 50 bucks again, for basically a camp mower, or just like a little mower for you know, trimming around the trees if you've got a riding mower or something like that, right? Or a small city lot or something. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, help me by smashing that like button down below, and if you're not a subscriber, consider doing so. That really helps me out on the channel as well. So till our next project, guys, take care.